My name's Olivia Buehl, and I live on Old Logan Drive, and I too am a voter and a taxpayer. My husband likes to say that there are three problems living in Yorktown: ticks, taxes, and traffic. And I think we probably would have fewer ticks if we had Costco come in, because they wouldn't be able to live on that asphalt. And we've already, Paul has talked about traffic. I want to talk about taxes. There's a misconception out here that this is going to be a panacea for Yorktown's tax problem, that our taxes are going to miraculously drop because of Costco coming in. The reality looks very different. By the time, let me take a closer look at this. We did call the town board in Portchester to talk to them and try to get a handle on what their experience was in having a Costco in their town. Of course, Portchester couldn't be more different from Yorktown, but, and it was interesting, the town board staff couldn't help us. They didn't have the faintest idea. They couldn't get any figures out of Costco. They didn't know what the sales volume was. They didn't know the number of employees. They didn't even know what the sales tax revenue was, which doesn't even seem possible, but that's what we were told. In any case, it turns out that the sales tax revenue for Yorktown Costco would be far less than anyone might think. That's because when you buy something in Yorktown and you pay that hefty 7 3/8% sales tax, almost none of that stays in town. And I don't think most people realize that. 4% goes to the state off the top. 3/8% goes to a commuter transportation fund, and then there's 3% left. 1.5% goes to the county. So that leaves 1.5% of the 7 3/8. But that doesn't mean that 1.5% comes to Yorktown, because the county takes all that money, that 1.5%, and prorates it depending upon the population of each town. And of course, we all know that this is a great big town in geographical space, but it has a very small population. So you can imagine how little of that 7 3/8% tax would actually wind up in Yorktown. So where is this tax windfall coming from? Presumably, the developers would say that pots of money are coming from property taxes. But again, let's take a closer look at what they're promising and what we might really get. According to a supporter of Costco, who wrote a blog on the Patch about the subject, he said the property tax can become a bear trap. Well, I didn't know what a bear trap was, but apparently what a bear trap is, the meaning of that cliche is that you may think something's a good thing and then you wind up getting trapped in it yourself. It's a bad thing. When they're applying for permission to build a project, developers will agree to almost any number when it comes to the property tax assessment. They want it approved, and arguing about what the actual assessment is up front is counterproductive.
Thank you.
Anyway, there's
You can always come back at the end of the day, and you know, and this is the whole point. You have a lot more time at the end of the meeting, but